Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today, the different discussion about the bone tumor, especially my lecture that I delivered in fourth year, my dear students of Azad Jammu Kashmir Medical College, Muzaffarabad. I promise to present you my presentation in audio, uh, and also I will send you the presentation of this one. As I told you, the bone tumors are rare tumor as compared to other tumors of the body, like breast tumors, like other tumors. So, lymphomas, but they are. Today, uh, my learning objective of today's lecture will be how you will classify the bone tumor. Number one, how you will make the understanding at the student level, and when you will become a consultant, how you will apply your this knowledge and improve your knowledge. Learning objective. Second, learning objective will be what are the different pathological aspect of diagnosis of the bone tumor. Because this is the, we are running the modular systems, and the aspect of treatment will be covered by the worthy teachers who are dealing with this, especially the orthopedic surgeons. So I am going to share the presentation that I gave you in the class. I'm sorry that I was not feeling well for 1 or 2 days. That is why I could not share my presentation. Alhamdulillah, now I'm okay and now I'm fine. So, what are different types of the bone tumor? What is the classification of the bone tumor? You will see in the textbooks, you will see in the Google, you will see in different website of the different bone tumor, and a lot of classification can make you confused. Today we will give you the very simple classification of the bone tumor up to level of fourth year students. What are the different sites of the students bone tumor? How you will diagnose, as I, and very important, the more elaborative lecture will be delivered by the radiologist. The importance of radiology in the diagnosis of the bone tumor. But as a pathologist, I will try my best to correlate the summary of bone tumor. The importance of grading and staging of the bone tumor is very. I will divide my lecture of the bone tumor into lectures. Lecture 1 will be on the bone forming tumor, and the lecture 2 will be on the cartilage formant and miscellaneous other tumors. I will show you my book that is written and that is in the UK on the bone tumor, especially bone forming tumor, and I will also share my article published on the cartilage forming tumor. So let's start. Before going in detail, I always indicates that there are 5 fingers, and you remember the importance of 5 finger in the learning of your bone tumors. First of all, this is the thumb. In the thumb, very important thumb is the clinical history of the patient is very important. Is there any trauma? Is there a bullet injury? Is there any radiation? Is there any viral infection, or is there any previous infection, or any family history of the bone tumor? So detailed history of the patient will help you in the diagnosis of bone tumor and reaching the appropriate. If you cannot diagnose, if you cannot make the clear concept of your disease, you can not manage your patient, because our prime objective is to give the keen attention on our patients. Patient is very, very, very important in your life. That is the thumb. And then is the another thing is that is the age, because bone tumor has some certain age relationship, like Ewing sarcoma. Mostly you will see in the children in the young age, while certain other tumors you will not, Ewing tumor you cannot see in old age. No doubt there is a small cell type of bone forming tumor that mimic with the Ewing sarcoma, but on histological examination, no doubt they are mimicking, but the small cell variant of osteogenic sarcoma entirely different on immunohistochemistry. Again, the age factor is very important in the prognosis of the patient. Two things. So age, give the importance of the age when the patient comes to you, and write down all these things on the prescription 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then is this was this finger, this is the middle finger. In the middle finger, always ask about the pain and the type of pain and the duration of the pain and the time of the pain. Certain tumors show the pains at night when there is secretion of the prostaglandin, like osteoid osteoma, while others type of the pains is dull type and the continuous type of the pain. So pain history. Another is the palpation, palpable mass. Is there any palpable mass or not? So usually, because bones are forming our body, bones are forming our structure. So all the bone tumors are palpable. Then is your very important is then is your this is called the ring finger. And the ring finger is very important not only for the rings, but also wearing the rings. That is very important. Our culture in Pakistan, and that is the location. The location, either it is a metaphysis or it is a diaphysis or the epiphysis. Location will help you in reaching the diagnosis, and location will help you in managing the patient. And the last one, not the last, but not the last, that is very, very important. As I told you that the detailed lecture will be given by the radiology department, but the role of imaging is very important as a histopathologist. When the case of the histopathology of any bone tumor will come, I always advise my students, my trainees, that what is the report of the radiologist regarding this one. And now, it not only the importance of X-ray, but also CT, MRI, bone scans. Bone scans are also important for all type of the tumor to see the any metastasis or something else. So these, always remember the 5 things when you are going to make the diagnosis of the bone tumor. So this is just a importance of if you see the first picture, you are seeing just a mass, very circumscribed mass on this side, and it is also lifting the soft tissue. But this is the part, this is the medullary cavity. The medullary cavity, it is not involving the medullary cavity. And this is just a dense collection of the mineral stones, making it more density. And if you go on the side, this is the picture. On this side, tumor, upper end of the bone of this one, you are looking this one, certain type of the opaque, a black, you are looking a black area, and this is just opacity. This is the opacity. You are seeing, looking something empty in the bone. When you are looking something empty in the bone, you see the margins, the infiltration, the size. So these all things, if you come on the side, it is a single opacity, a cystic mass like a black area. And if you come on this side, it is somewhat larger as compared to the previous one. And on this side, the knee joint of this one is a little larger. And on this side, and the last one you are looking, this is the some fracture of this bone. We're looking at some fracture of the bone. This is the pathological fracture. And the pathological fracture is very important. Pathological fracture is very important. And to make the diagnosis, because mostly the malignant tumors make the this pathological fracture. So this was just a simple correlation of your another. This is also a CT, MRI, bone skin on this side. You're looking how the importance of this one here area. So always correlate all these things with as I told you about the little finger. Little finger, I told you about the radiation is very important for this one. So just to give a, just if you go back in anatomy, this is the bone of for the children. This is the bone of the adults. In the bone of the adults, you are not looking at the metaphysis. Metaphysis is very small in this area, very small lining of this area. But as you see in the children, this is the growth plate, and this is the epiphysis. This is the art. This is the because the children are growing, and this is so location. This is I am showing you the bone to give the importance of location that certain tumors are present in epiphysis, and certain tumors are present in metaphysis, especially osteogenic sarcomas are present in this one. And diaphysis, in our discussion, you will see some diaphysis. In adults, no doubt, your epiphysis is very smaller, and your growth plate is almost completed, but linings of demarcation still remain forever. So this is the understanding of the bones. To this understanding was this one. So that is mainly we divide into two groups. One is the primary tumor that is arising from the bone, and other is the because the bone is very loving site for the tumor, malignant tumor growing other side and coming to us. Certain tumors love to reach in the bone. That is one of the example is the breast tumor and the renal cell carcinoma. So whenever you will go to a consultant of the your breast oncologist, or you will go to he will also advise the bone scan. This is that is why the primary tumor and the secondary tumor. Another understanding of this one is that the primary tumors are again divided into two groups. That is the your third knowledge, the benign tumor and the malignant tumor. You all know the benign tumors are confined and does not spread. On the other hand, the malignant tumors, they invade the tissue, metastasize, and the malignant tumors, again, I have told that the primary tumor and the secondary tumor, the prostate, lungs, thyroid, the kidney, they also are the loving tumor of this one. But in the viva, you at least know one or two tumors in the male, the prostate, in the female, the breast, the kidney on the side, even lung tumor metastasize rate, they mostly go in the liver and the nerve structures. They also go in the brain, but also invade the bone in that. This is showing this one, the mass, the bone primary cell, they grow. Now the tumor, if you concentrate on the histological structure, histology, if you revise your histology of the first year and second year MBBS, you will see you are the teacher, your anatomy teacher, your histology teacher will see that there are few cells present inside the bone. One of them is the osteoblast. Osteoblasts are the bone building. When they become mature, they become osteocyte, and the osteoclast, certain tumor arise, bone resorption tumor, they resorb, they are forming and they make the good shape. When you say, suppose if there is a fracture, there is a callus formation, the osteoblasts are forming. But with the passage of time, you will see on the X-ray, the osteoblasts will come and they will manage on its side. And they will resorb and make the good shape of your bone. Another tumor cell structure, you will see mesenchymal cells, stem cells. Very rare tumor, no doubt, in the bones are nerve, fat, fibroblastic, cartilage. So these are the certain tumors. So concept cartilage cells, chondroblast is another important cell that arises from the neuroendocrine cells and the mesenchymal cells. Ewing sarcoma mostly that arise in the neuroendocrine cells. So we will discuss in detail. So osteoblast, osteoclast, chondroblast, these are the main three cells which are responsible. And the most important, more than 70% of this tumor, they are involved in the osteoblast. And this one, I will give you the detail of this one. Depending upon the cell, bone forming, osteoblast, cartilage forming, osteoclast, miscellaneous tumor. Certain tumors arise from the bone marrow, and they are called hematological tumor, and some fibroblasts of this also arise in this one. So again, the primary tumors, mainly in the lecture 1, I will discuss the bone forming tumor, osteoma, osteoid osteoma, and osteoblastoma, osteosarcoma, different variants of osteosarcoma. Osteosarcoma needs a special lecture because very commonest tumor in the malignant tumor, commonest malignant tumor is the osteosarcoma. And then is the cartilage forming tumor, same on osteoma, chondroma on the other side, and osteoid osteoma and osteochondroma on this parallel, chondrosarcoma, and different variants of chondrosarcoma. And miscellaneous tumor, beautiful group of this is two more important. One is in the young age, I told you, is the Ewing sarcoma. This one, sarcoma as a joint cell tumor. A big list of this one, just to make a concept of that. There are certain times that the tumor then can occur in the bone. This is the detail. Some are very rare, some are very common tumors. So that is why we should but discuss in this part. 40% tumor are hematopoietic and 25%, 22 are chondrogenic, 19. But I have seen in my life in Pakistan, the most common chondrogenic or osteogenic tumor. So, and 10% are very rare. This is detailed in the rest. This is one tumor. Grading is very important. Grading is depends upon the treatment lies on this. Prognosis, treatment, prognosis, grading is done by the histopathologist, and the staging is done by staging and grading is very important. The surgeons usually give the description how much the spread, that is called staging. While the grading we do under the microscope, what is the behavior? Simple definition of the grading is what is the behavior of the tumor? What is the behavior of the cell which are making that tumor? So the grading is always done for the malignant tumor because the benign tumor do not spread, and the benign tumor do not spread. That is why they are grade 0. The grading is only done for the malignant tumor. So you should know these tumors, the low grade sarcoma. These are low grade sarcomas of the bone. Paraosteal, I will show you what mean the par on side. Low grade, on the parallel is a peri, that is a periosteal. Periosteal is a grade 2 tumor, while the paraosteal is on arising in this site. Then is the low grade chondrosarcoma, simply clear cell chondrosarcoma is very low grade tumor. Osteoblastic fibrous dysplasia, adamantium is also. There is other tumor that is chondroma. Chondroma is not included in the bone tumor. They are usually, we will discuss when we'll discuss the brain tumor. So grade 1, slow spreading, slow mitosis, slow behavior of the tumor, but we usually we cannot diagnose grade 1 tumor without X-ray. We cannot, histopathology usually has a lot of pitfall on diagnosing the grade 1 because we usually we will diagnose it as a benign tumor. So radiology will help you in grading the tumor. Another grade 2 tumor, as I discussed, that is the peri. Peri means that was encircled. Peri, that encircled were the bone. And then is the intermediate chondrosarcoma and chordoma, classic chordomas. High grade tumor, osteosarcoma is the high grade tumor. In the children, Ewing sarcoma, high grade tumor. And a few variants of cartilage forming sarcoma. They are also in high grade chondrosarcoma, dedifferentiated chondrosarcoma, mesenchymal chondrosarcoma, differentiated chordoma, malignant joint cell tumor. Today in lecture 1, we will discuss the osteosarcoma, and lecture 2 will discuss other tumors in this one. So this is just a certain, on one side is you will see the bone. This is the osteoblast tumor. Just give you, this is a cartilage cell. This is a certain fibroblast. So the role of genetic genes, they are controlling the cell. If you revise your lecture, if you revise your lecture of the third year MBBS, your general pathology, the cell cycle. The cell cycles, you know, is under control of two. There are so many genes, but if we divide into two groups of the genes, one is they are under control of tumor suppressor genes, especially when entering in G0 to G1 and G1 to G synthetic phase. These two phases are very important for the cells to become malignant or for the apoptosis or something else. So usually we have seen, and other group of they are oncogenes. The oncogenes are just like if you are driving a car and you are on your signal traffic, you go on the traffic signal. If you see the red light, you will stop the car. This red light is tumor suppressor gene. And if you will see the green light, you will move your car. The green light is your oncogene. So there is overexpression of the oncogene, there is mutation of the oncogene, and same there is the tumor suppressor mutation of the tumor suppressor genes. So this is the just simple osteoma, osteoid osteoma. This is just a chart. You will simply a chart, simple summary of your chart of osteosarcoma. The benign tumor on this side, age, location, morphology. I have not included the radiology because that will be covered by your radiologist, and I have not included because this treatment will depend upon the type of this one. So this is just a summary you should revise on this. Location, which bone is involved, which site is involved, osteoma only, the facial bones, osteoid osteoma, also in the, this is on the old age, this is osteoid osteoma, young age, and osteoblastoma also young age. This is involved the metaphysis. On this side, if you go on this, the osteoblastoma is the vertebral column, osteoid osteoma there. So on this side is the morphology, how they will look like. If you see these cells are benign, cells of innocents, and on this side you will cells progressively, if they're becoming angry looking, if the cells are becoming aggressive, it means then it is a malignant tumor. Certain if you see that certain complications are also in the secondary osteoma. Very simple definition. The collection of the lamellar bone, complete bone, they are present in the flat bone. Simple definition. Flat bone means that is skull, nasal bone, and you can see other flat bones of the body. So very commonly you will observe in old age, long range, but I haven't seen in the very rarely in the young age. I have given the long range of this one tumor of this one. So they are benign, no need to remove. But if they are obstructing the paranasal cyanide or causing the obstruction, surgically they are removed if they are present in the these are sites. Sharply circumscribed, radiopaque. Opaque means you will see a clean area, radio circumscribed. See, I will show you this one. That sometimes this is associated with the certain syndrome that can be asked in the Viva. That is the Gardner syndrome. In Gardner's syndrome, three tumors are very important. One is the osteoma, and other is the epidermal cyst, and the colonic adenomatous polyps. Adenomatous polyps we will discuss in this. Adenomatous polyps are neoplastic polyp. This is just a picture of the bone. If see, this is the bone. We'll see on this is the skull. This is the living person. This one, and This is in the nasal sinus. Why am I not showing the histology? I will show this one. So this is just another simple laminar bone. This is sometime an ostosis you can see simply. This is not the tumor, but this is the just a also bone anastosis, also known as the bone island, are common benign sclerotic bone sclerosis sometimes that usually represent incidental findings. They constitute a small focus of the compact bone, osteoma, and this anastosis are compact bone. While other all tumors are woven bone, I will discuss, give you the detail. Anastosis can be seen radiologically, CT scan, considered one of the most, and do not touch the limbs. Another thing is that and I'm going to, especially this is the skull, if you are they're not involving the bone, and this simply, this is going in the sinus. So these are usually solitary tumor and can be removed. Osteoid osteoma is another group of tumor, benign, painful growth of the diaphysis. They are present in the diaphysis and the long bones. But maybe may extend to the metaphysis usually, but they are in the diaphysis. Osteoid, last D for last D, osteoid, D for diaphysis, while osteoblastoma is on the metaphysis side. Usually more age, I told you 10 to 20 year, but can occur in the smaller age. Males are a little bit one time more in the males. You will have a nidus, a small group, a small collection of something, and the tumoral sclerosis around it. And that will, you will look on the X-ray central radioluminescence, luminescent clear area, that is the nidus, surrounded by the thick sclerotic bone, that is the mineralized bone at least. The size is less than 1.5 centimeter. This is the location. 21 patients were examined, and the most common site was, one thing I have missed, the most commonest bone involved in tumor is the long bone. Very rare tumor in the ear and smallest bone of the body. So you will see the femur everywhere, vertebra and something else. This was the analysis of our 21 patients, this one. So you will see most commonest site is the femur. Okay, osteoid osteoma, virtually any bone, but I gave you the detail, the tibia, the femur, intracranial bones, marked sclerosis around, but maybe vary by data to data, country to country. Simply, they are more common in the longer bones. The microscopic trabeculae means that is the, I show, that is the collection of certain bone of the woman, not a lamellar bone. And normally you will see the trabeculae, the lamellar bone. This is the trabeculae of the woman, mature bone, lined by the osteoblast in a vascular stoma. Very simple trabeculae, small few vessels, osteoblast. May you will have the fibrous spindle-shaped cells. You cannot see some other types of the cells in this, in the stoma. So this is the radiolucent area, and then sclerosis. Opaque is the thick area, lucency is the something open. This is also lucence, translucent, something can pass. So that is the surrounded by this, the foot. And this is the nidus and then the sclerosis. And if you see If you see on the law of power, because sometimes your examiner can give you in the OSPI, this is a well circumscribed area, small nidus that less than 1.5 centimeter. And these are the, you see the trabeculae, anastomosing trabeculae of the solid, but these are the woven bones, not the lamellar bones. And in the stroma, you will see certain blood vessels. This is also a variable mineral. Some are mostly mature, and some are, when they become more mature, they become lamellar. So this is the high power view. This is the, you will see the, this is the trabeculae. If you are given this slide in the OSPI, you just write that histological examination of the section reveals number one, the trabeculae of the bones, and they are lined by the osteoblast, not a typical osteoblast. And then these are the blood vessels, these are small blood vessels, these are small blood vessels, and this is the spindle cells. You cannot see some certain osteoblasts wandering here and there. So that is the difference in this. So if you will see on this surrounding, they are the surrounded by the thick sclerotic. Another, but the important thing is that by the osteoblastoma and osteoma, they are associated with pain. That pain is due to certain mechanism that I will give you in the detail of this one. So this is osteoblastoma, a little bit more cellular tumor as compared to the osteoid. Osteoma, no cellular tumor, lamellar bone. Osteoid osteoma, a little bit cellularity start increasing. Osteoid osteoblastoma, a more cellular tumor. That is, this tumor usually confuses the histopathologist to differentiate between the malignant tumor and the benign tumor. Another confusing thing is that is the fracture callus. Fresh. If history, you cannot provide the history, that will mislead you in making the diagnosis. That is why I told you the clinical history is very important. So benign osteoblastic nucleus microscopically similar, but a more cellular, but more progressive growth as compared to, more sizes as compared to, but not associated with the pain. Age is almost same, but variable age. Different books has written the different. I will share my book link. You can get the detail of about this tumor. So this is a little bit more cellular, a larger irregular. If you compare the osteocyte, osteoid osteoma, and as compared to this one, that is, you will see different picture here, more cellular. And one important thing is the more cellular and more edematous. This edematous stroma you cannot see, you will not see in osteoid. Very simple picture of the osteoid osteoma. And more osteoblast around it. Just I will ask to show you my book. That is my library, and because library is very important keeping to my students. This is my articles that I have written, all the journals. These are my pathology books. These are the history books, and these are my first year, second year, third year MBBS. When I was in first year, second year. This is the library is very important nowadays. The library is laptop, but I love to sit in my library when I am alone. Library is your on this is the religious uh, 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 shelves, religious books, Quran and Hadith and all things. All books are lying with me. So X-ray is helpful reduction no less sclerosis as compared to osteoid osteoma. Microscopy I have given you the detail. If you have another picture of this one. So there is another variants of aggressive that contains some mitosis but not atypical mitosis. So aggressive osteoblastoma, epithelioid osteoblastoma, we have to differentiate with the help of radiology. Sheets of pleomorphic epithelioid cells, sometimes they confuse us with the metastasis. So you have to use the immunomarker. Cytokeratin will be negative here and YMAP will be positive in this one. So this is the MCQ. In the MCQ, if you see, a 31-year-old man presented with aggressive appearing thoracic spine lesion measuring 2.8 centimeter in a greater dimension, hematoxylin, eosine stain demonstrated. Interanastomosis trabeculae of the bone set within loose edematous fibrovasculostoma with extravascular erythrocytes, because I told you there are certain edematous and vascular stoma. There is a spectrum of bony maturation. Some are immature, some are mature, and activated with minimal osteoid. Or there are minimal osteoid are almost less like we speak. Osteoid too broad, minimal. Anastomosing trabeculae of the woman, sclerotic sheets of the woman. The osseous trabeculae are lined by a single layer of osteoblasts, diffusely scattered osteoclast types, multi-joint. So yes, I have discussed two tumors, and among one tumor, I have discussed three tumors. There are in osteoma, osteoma, and osteoblastoma. In two tumors, the joint cells are. The neoplasm is surrounded by the sclerotic rim. There is no infiltration of the pre-existent lamellar bone, the rare mitotic figure, and no necrosis seen. The immunohistochemistry stains phos and beta catenin are positive in tumor cells. These are BCAT, and these are oncogenes. While all the followings are negative, cytokeratin negative, these markers are negative. P53 mutation negative. The tumor is negative at USP6 rearrangement. Which of the following is most likely to correct diagnosis? Aneurysmal bone cyst, joint cell tumor because there is a presence of the joint cells, osteoblastoma because there are variable types of anastomosing woman bone and a single layer of osteoblast and something. Osteoid osteoma, there is, if you read it, then it's the osteosarcoma. So before giving the answer, you read the history that in osteosarcoma, there must be mitosis, osteoid lace-like structure, there must not be sclerotic rim, there must be positivity of certain markers. P53 especially rearrangement of this bone. So it means there is no osteosarcoma. Osteoid osteoma, less cellular, as I told you, no such markers are present there. And I told you that less cellular is that there. So no bone aneurysmal, these all things are negative. But you can see the joint cells are there. So 1, 2, 3, Joint cell are also excluded because certain markers are positive in that tumor. We will discuss certain. So now the tie is between osteoblastoma and osteoblastoma. In osteoblastoma is also you can knock out on the history. So the answer is that osteoblastoma. Another MCQ is that a young boy, history is the young boy, was diagnosed osteoblastoma. Which of the following is about to prove? Osteoblastoma is more common in females. I told you no such picture can be more in males, but not in the females. Predilection of the spine of the sacrum, then the tumor is positive. H3F3G not positive in this tumor. Tumor permeation not seen in this tumor, and not seen in the osteoblastoma. No doubt certain cellular cells are aggressive, but minimal. Tumors of the mandibles are associated with poor bone, not at all. They have a good prognosis. So the answer is B. So if you I differentiate on two tumor, osteoblastoma, osteoblastoma. Their location is different. One is on metaphysis, other is diaphysis. Arise from the osteoblast, both arise from the osteoblast. Form a rim. Size is larger in osteoblastoma, larger than 1 centimeter. Small at 1.5 centimeters. Less sclerotic bone in osteoblastoma. I told you that I will, pain is here. I told you that I will describe why the pain is present in osteoblastoma. That is due to presence of sclerosis. That is presence of sclerosis. This sclerotic bone secretes the prostaglandin, especially at night. And the prostaglandins are responsible for the pain. Another thing, more tibia, more on this mandible, more, no doubt osteoblastoma can occur here. They erode the surrounding bone. They do not erode the surrounding bone. This is the difference between, so more trabeculae, blood vessels, and edema on this osteoblast side. Very important, that is the osteosarcoma. 60 to 70% in the beginning I told you is on the long bone, osteosarcoma on this side, and then is the sacrum, then is the from lower limb to upper limb. The percentage very easy to learn. More in the lower limb, then percentage decreases, then the sacrum. If you go upper limb, can occur, but the percentage prevalence is frequency is low. And again, the jaw, but in the jaw, it is not a bad prognosis, good prognosis. So why? I had told you that in the cell cycle, two tumors are important. Two tumor suppressor genes are very important. They something can hit them, radiation can hit them. Certain genetic problem can hit these two genes. Certain viruses can hit these two genes. Certain foreign bodies can hit these two genes. Pesticides and these can hit these two genes. So this is the MCQ question that P53 is seen in this familial Leigh-Van syndrome and causes the in early age, but in other tumor they can too much osteoid tissue formation. Then is the retinoblastoma is positive, tumor suppressor gene is hit. An eye tumor familial eye tumor and in this one. So these are the, if you see the picture, very simple picture, the pleomorphic picture is simple. It is enough for you fourth year MBBS students to have. Osteosarcoma, different type, they are histologically typed, different type. Osteoid, osteoblast, they do not become mature. I told you that in the beginning they are osteoblast, then become osteocyte. In the tumor, when there is your cell cycle is abnormal, then this becomes they do not mature. They're aggressive osteoblast. Non-hemetic, most common non-hemetic tumors, 25% before the 28th peak is in the elderly, commonly in the males. Mostly, I told you there is one tumor. I will told you that is more female. All other tumors are most metaphysis. Metaphysis is that one. So, patient with hereditary retinoblastoma, these are the certain etiological factors. Certain bone diseases, Paget disease, certain foreign bodies, radiations. So these are certain etiological agents. You can see detail in your textbooks. Metastasis can go in the bone marrow, can go in the sites. Most common site of the osteogenic cells to metastasis. Most common MCQ question. Most common site of the metastasis of osteogenic sarcoma is in the lung. And if you remove the primary tumor, you treat the chemotherapy, the lung metastasis can regress. But there are certain other methods for advances in treatment. Chemotherapy, that your teacher will discuss in detail. So basically, malignant collection of this is in the histology, a simple picture I will show you. There are one is the conventional type, it is high-grade tumor, and there are special type of the tumor. Conventional tumor are histologically the site of the conventional most metaphysis and very rarely in the diabetes. Very rarely in the fat bones. Osteosarcoma, X-ray is very important. Two words are used. One is the onion, then is the sunburst. Rays of, you will see the rays of this one. Rays, certain rays of sun. And other is the Codman triangle. I will show you where the Codman triangle is forming this one. And then is the high-grade cells, anaplastic cell, more aggressive cell with unique osteoid. Three things are important: mitosis, anaplastic cells, and osteoids are lace-like structure, immature structure secreted directly by the osteoblast, malignant osteoblast. Conventional are intramedullary, intracortical, or the surface. These are conventional. Degree of differentiation depending upon this grading, multisynchronous, all synchronous, metasynchronous. So the conventional variant for fourth year MBBS student, on X-ray you will see Codman triangle sunburst. And on histology you will see osteoid directly stimulated by the malignant osteoblast. Mitotic activity, more aggressive cells. Some special PAR osteal, I told you, PAR mean on one side, this is the low-grade tumor. Paris are intermediate grade tumor. I'll show you on the, you can easily diagnose on these. Other high-grade tumor, extracellular tumor. So this is the primary tumor, primary and secondary tumor. I discussed this all things. So histological variant, again, certain other tumors. So the now tumor grading, low grade and high grade, some vary in the intermediate grade cell pleomorphism, tumor differentiation, necrosis, how you can create. So this is the classical osteogenesis. This is the mitosis. These are the osteoids. This is the Codman triangle. If you make it, this is making triangle. If you draw a picture line here and one straight line here, and make then third line here, they are making the Codman triangle. This is the making the Codman triangle. If you draw here, and if you draw here line, another line, it's making the Codman triangle. So this is the most commonest X-ray picture and the commonest high mitotic picture. This is the malignant giant cell, not benign giant cell. We are more looking the nucleoli, more edema, more necrosis. These are the signs of this one. Another picture is that. So this was about the bone tumor. I will discuss in detail in lecture 2 the osteochondroblastic tumor and other tumors. For further discussion, because lecture is not enough for you, it is just to give the information, understanding certain MCQ question and teachers discussion, how the teacher can ask the MCQ from you. And but for detail, you should read the Robin pathology. So symptoms almost osteoid osteoma, worse pain at night, can be relieved by the non-steroidal painkillers, spleen, osteochondroma. They can even, in the malignant tumor, you can see the fractures, you can see the swelling. This is the, you can high grade fever when there are inflammatory reactions, temperature and weight loss and all these things. How you will diagnose osteogenic sarcoma? Well, simply the 4 things you keep in mind. 5 things. X-ray is very important, and then is the, you see this is the just like Codman triangle. This was sunburst and triangle. So these are different types of the osteochondroma. So the treatment is very simple. Your consultant will discuss in detail. Simply benign tumor, surgical, by malignant tumor, radiation and chemotherapy. That's what is the summary of this one, the benign tumor. And the malignant tumors, what are different malignant tumor, what is their treatment. There are 3 most common genuine primary bone tumor. I will give you the summary at the end. So this was just to give the overview. At the end of this one, I advise all my students that do not depend upon the lecture of your teacher. You should concern your books. You should concern your even articles. You can even listen certain videos of your teacher and something, but you cannot exclude the Robin. Thank you very much. And I will give the second lecture tomorrow, and I will upload and send you the link. Thank you so much. My best wishes, my prayer for your success. May Allah keep you safe, especially may Allah keep safe the all world, especially from this pandemic.